Hey y'all, happy Thursday and welcome in the building. We are here in Royer's World. If this is your first time, welcome. If not, I'm so glad that you decided to join me and Diva again. Please hit that like button as you are coming in the building. Comment your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section as we will be going through them. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, I need you to stop what you're doing right now and hit that link that is linked up in the comment. Go to my channel and subscribe. And then make sure you hit that notification bell on all so you see each and every time I post a video with you in mind. Auntie Diva, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. What's going on? What's up?
It's Thursday. Tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo. We about to celebrate all weekend. Yes. So shout out to that. Listen, y'all, we are here to do part 2 of Dear Mama, the Netflix, Lord Jesus. The
You started partying already?
Okay, listen. Never look. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Okay, period. But yes, we are here to review episode 3. This is our part 2 of Dear Mama, the Afeni and Tupac documentary. Okay, and y'all, this has been a show, in my opinion. I mean, from the jump, Diva. I mean, they caught me in my feelings. And they have kept me there. It has been such a good show. So based off of last week, Diva, if you just kind of want to give us a brief synopsis of what you kind of took from last week's 2 episodes, and then we'll go into the third one.
Sure, of course. Well, first of all, I would have never thought that I would be so interested in this series. It's always hard to say. I don't want I'm enjoying it because you're getting to see the backstory of Tupac. I'm enjoying it because his mom was really a force to be reckoned with, and not just because she was a part of the Black Panthers, but a force to be reckoned with because all that she did, right? And what I love about his mother is that it tells you that formal education is not the only way to educate yourself, because she never went through any formal education, and this woman was so darn smart. Probably smarter than a lot of people that have all those posters and degrees on their wall. I mean, because when you can go in court and defend yourself,
the way they broke that down this episode, ooh, I can't wait to get to that. But go ahead.
Right, and then to learn all the things that, although many people looked upon the Black Panthers as something negative, they did so many things that were positive, that are being looked over, so to speak. Hey everybody, thanks for coming through. So they did so many things that I promise you I would have never known, right? And especially with the welfare and the WIC program and the breakfast in the schools. And I'm always honest. I grew up in the Bronx. And a lot of my meals came from when I was in school. I was part of the breakfast program in the school. Okay.
And I was part of the patient bill of rights too. I mean, now the patient bill of rights. Oh my gosh. I was not ready for that. Who would have known?
Who would have known? And I was part of the lunch program and all of that. So thank God for these pioneers, I'm going to call them, that have started so many things, right? That we were able to be a participant of, and we probably wouldn't have had it if it wasn't for those people that are doing that. So I'm so grateful that they existed and that happened. And I'm grateful that I learned that here it is, someone that you would have never known, because they put so much negativity on the Black Panthers, and look at all of the positive things that they did. And hey, Nate, I see you out there. I think you said you too. I know that's right. Listen, and not to go back because I don't want to go off the track, Roy, but in the Bronx where I grew up, in the summer, this in order the schools to help the the people in the neighborhood that was in the city that their parents couldn't afford stuff. What they would do in the summer is they would open the school just for lunch. You can come there and get lunch.
Wow.
Isn't that wasn't that cool? Like you could literally come in and get lunch. So anyway, but I there was so
But
many things, and I enjoyed seeing. It was nice to see that Tupac originally had this really soft side, but
yes.
unfortunately, everything he went through took him to the dark side.
Yes, all the way. So,
Yeah,
yes, before we get into episode 3, thank you, Nate, for joining us. Hello. Thank you, Aaron D. Thank you, Shan. Hey, Prince Royer and Lady Diva. Happy Thursday. By the way, Tupac is my man. Do your real
watch.
man know this, honey?
I know that. She told us watch our mouth.
Hello, Nubian. Good evening. So, Diva, Auntie, let's get right into it. So, episode 2 was another wower. Hello, Bed-Stuy BK. Welcome in. Y'all remember to hit that like button as you're coming in the building. I'm so glad that you have joined us. So, episode 2, we finished off last week. We know, Tupac, is kind of changing and blowing up at this stage of his career. He's been in a couple movies, he's had a couple hit songs. And so now, in my opinion, this is where he kind of started feeling himself, Diva. He's Tupac, and he's outside of this, nice guy shell. He is, the man in the street, handling the business, doing what he do. He is determined to live this thug life, if you may. But it wasn't, in my opinion, in the original terms that he desired it to be, that he was giving it to us at first. So, we walk into this now. Tupac is pow pow, 2 cops. And him and his friends were out in the streets having, their little time, got into a little situation, pow pow, 2 cops were going to court. And so he was gotten out on bail. And this happened in Georgia back in the early 90s. I was shocked. I could not believe they let this man out on bail. Is that something that shocked you?
Well, I knew of the story, so I wasn't shocked to hear about it in the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing to it was is they was off duty cops, so it's not like he knew like they were cops. Not that it makes it any better. So
Right.
it was an altercation in a situation that happened. So it wasn't as if like he just rolled up on some cops and did this. So yeah, it didn't shock me because I knew of the story. And
Okay.
I unfortunately every time Tupac got in trouble, it was like all over the news. It was crazy. And I
Yeah.
do believe that sometimes you have to use the word target. I believe that he was a target in the sense of who his mother was.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like they just automatically pinned him to be trouble, so to speak, because his mom was who she was and she was a part of the organization that she was a part of. So yeah, it didn't shock me when I saw it in the documentary.
I thought it was hilarious how he walked out like George Jefferson. I thought it was funny, but then it was very disrespectful and
Yes.
condescending.
Yeah.
It gave the people another reason to think
Yeah.
negatively about your behavior. So,
Yeah.
he's bailed out. And so now this is yet another case that he is dealing with. And so
Mhm.
as we kind of roll on, his reaction to the media, in my opinion, is what really began to shake the table for him. Because,
Yeah.
whatever you give to the camera is what they are going to provide to us.
That
And
part.
he was just so unstable during those times because I felt like he felt the people were already pending him guilty to a crime that though he committed, it was in self-defense almost, if you may, because
Hmm.
like you said, it wasn't like that they just ran into the cops and they just started off, with the issue.
Right.
They
Right.
gave them the problem, and so he finished the problem, unfortunately.
Hmm.
So right after this situation, here comes another situation with him and one of his friends, Man. Him and Man, they're going back to the hotel. And so another friend came, and so a young lady was there, and so there was a situation that happened, and I was very confused by that scene. Auntie, maybe you can help me out, because the way Man was talking, Tupac came out of the room, right? And then the friend went in the room. So was he in the room? Was he not in the room? It was very confusing. Long story short, as soon as they came out, the girl freaks out. The police is called, and so they were arrested immediately after the situation. So you can go ahead.
Well, that's a heavy situation, right?
Mhm.
And I think the situation is heavy because I so okay, so there was a girl, and I think the girl knew what she was coming for, right? So they say, when from my time period, if I say do your grandmother always used to tell you, if a man called you a certain hour at night, you know what that's about. So where are you going? What are you doing? So when you are dealing with these people in the entertainment industry, a lot of these girls, they know what's up. They know what it is, right? They know that if he's calling you back to the hotel room, it's not because I want you to be my girlfriend. It's because it is what it is, and this is what up. Either you're down or you're not down. So I have a feeling that the girl knew, like, okay, I'm going in there to get down with Tupac. Okay, fine, cool. I'm cool with that. But I think when he left out the room and someone else goes in the room, because you notice when he went to his court case, he said he's guilty of like closing his eyes, being a blind eye to the situation. The guy goes in the room. It was like, okay, now that guy was gonna go and get his. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So it's a heavy situation because it's like, although I didn't do nothing to her, I know that when that other person was stepping in the room, what was about to go down. Now, did I know or not whether or not she was going to be down with it? Nah, but I didn't even care. I was like, okay, I got mine. So it is what it is. But, and even, with men, it's a tricky situation for this female male thing, because even if a female consents initially, if she turns around and changes her mind right after that, like not right at that, like anytime during that, so to speak, and says no, like you need to stop.
Immediately.
So that situation was just bad, but he started to involve himself in a lot of reckless behavior that didn't help anything that he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And they slapped him and and the Jack, the friend, with 18 charges. 18 charges. I was shocked. Doc from NC, good evening. Thank you for joining us this evening. Y'all make sure y'all hitting the like button as you're coming in the building. I greatly appreciate it.
mhm,
Um, I was wowed, like 18 charges.
mhm.
Um, and yet again, once he went to court for that, he just always allowed the media to pull him into
Come
stuff that
on.
egg him on. Yes. And I was just like, sir, why? Okay. So then we kind of move. Any other thoughts and opinions on that scene, Diva?
Yeah, let's talk about how the thing is, there's this saying, I want to say it comes from the Bible, too much is given, much is required.
Mm-hmm.
And so my thing is that you have to know that when you have something to lose, you got to watch who you hang with, who you deal with, who you're around, all of the above. And so that's why you can't let anybody shake your ground. And you got to be stronger than the force that's trying to come against you. So that's where a good publicist comes in. But there are some people that I think you can't shut them up. And I think Tupac was probably one of those people. So I think even if he would have had a publicist, it probably wouldn't have mattered because he still would have said what he said. Um,
Well, and mom said that because remember that one of the friends kept saying the mom told him, "Can you talk to Pop? He not listening to me." Well, he ain't listening to me either.
Nobody.
He was determined to do what he wanted to do and what he felt was in the best interest of him and his community.
Yeah. But you know what? Hold on 1 second, because Shan said something good. Yes, Steve, I really wish Tupac would have moved far, far away. Maybe he would still be here. I do. I think everybody can't deal with opposition, and I hope I'm using the correct word, right? So There
correct.
are some people that they can grow up in like the craziest conditions and they still survive. And when I mean survive, I'm talking about survive mentally, physically, emotionally. Something's going on with your mic. I don't know where your mic is at, Roy, but it's like it's noisy from the mic. So some people, emotionally, mentally, physically, whether they grow up with their dad and their mom, or just their dad, or just their mom, or in poverty, they could still rise above. Others, it does something to their mental, right? And I think that Tupac had so much going on, being that his mom went through what she went through, being that his dad left, being that he also grew up poor. I think all of that, weighed in on him and
Mhm.
created the person we known as Tupac, and it didn't help. So he kind of indirectly, because I want to say when he said, I was going to try to watch it again, but his mother was pregnant with him when she was in jail. Is that right?
That is correct. Hmm.
So you see how do you see the correlation with that?
I do.
He was in utero when his mother was in prison,
In the
and I
worst
felt
stages
like,
of
right, and I felt like his mind was in prison, and he always was like in a battle. He always was like in war. It was like he was born a panther. Like
yes.
he always felt like, you know what, the world is against me. I'm gonna
Mhm.
do it. I'm gonna this. I'm gonna that. And he became what that saying he wrote on his stomach, thug life.
Yes.
That's what he became.
Well, and we remember, Aunt Glow even said last week in the last two episodes that the Shakur, Afani, the gentleman that Afani married,
Mhm,
he took Tupac under his wings and really, really, really taught him the way of, the Panther.
mhm,
How you deserve more than what you were given, and you have to take and fight for what you want. And so that
mhm,
is the mentality that he grew up in. Miss True Kelly, they said everyone told Tupac not to mess with Haitian Jack. Yes, they did. Oh, what is his name? Mike Tyson told him, Biggie told him, he was warned by many people that he did not even need to be in the lifestyle that he was, heading towards, and that he can change it around because of his mentality, because he was so smart, because he was so talented. He didn't need to be a part of that, but he was determined to be about that thug ninja life. And if there was one of the scenes, Diva, that he said, I'm gonna do drugs because, or use substances because that's what ninjas do. I'm gonna act loud because that's what ninjas do. I'm gonna carry a pow pow because that was ninjas do. He was just determined to do what he felt he was supposed to do. So hello,
yes, Miss.
Dale, the
Yeah,
building. Thank you
yeah.
so much.
Go back to Miss True Kelly. You are right. Thug for him meant
Oh,
that
you
I
got
meant
it.
the other
Sorry.
one. That's okay. Thug for him meant the hate you give. But
Mhm.
see, you gotta be careful because thug life he wrote across his belly.
That is what he said.
He wrote thug life. And they said you manifest everything. A man is what he thinks. So when you want to put across your belly thug life, you are manifesting your life. Do you want to manifest a thug life? Because that's what he ended up doing. He manifested a whole thug life. But there was a
He
scene in
manifested the
this,
hate that he gives. The hate
yeah,
he just exactly he manifested the hate that he
that
gives.
he
That
gave,
is
right?
exactly what he did.
Yeah. So they show where every town he went to, every state he went to, he was getting locked up for something. Thug life.
Hey, Black Panthers, I'm glad you're in the building. Y'all, please remember to hit that like button as you are coming in. We are so glad to have you. So, yes, Diva, moving on into kind of mom,
Mhm.
Afina, y'all, I'm sorry to pronounce it wrong.
I
So,
think you pronounced it right the first time. I was trying to catch it. There's pronunciation. This I think it is a Afeni. I think so. Somebody help us
Afeni,
out in
I
the
believe
chat.
so too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
So, we kind of go back into her life, her story as she was pregnant with Tupac. And, she has Tupac. And so later on, she has another child. and she does not know who the father of the child is. And during this time, she is also fighting this court case that she has hovered over her head, in which, she's representing herself. And during this court case, she finds out that the gentleman who was Malcolm's ex top security was an undercover cop. And one of the gentlemen that she worked with as well in the Black Panther, who did training and things like that, was an undercover cop. And so, it's they did not find all of this out until they were coming into the court, and the state was bringing their witnesses to come against Afeni. And so Afeni had the opportunity to cross-examine one of the gentlemen, specifically the gentleman who was security to Malcolm X. And so the way she cross-examined him, I mean, you would have thought she had a full law degree with all the credentials, with all the knowledge in the world. I mean, she read him down from head to toe. She got him so good that she made him upset, and he ended up basically telling on himself pretty much. So, what's your thoughts on that?
Whew. First of all, very intelligent woman. And she was actually facing a lot of years behind bars. A lot. And but they also said, I heard outside of this, they also said not only did she defend herself, she ended up defending a lot of other Black Panthers also. So she defended herself, and she pretty much was like asking the cop, saying that was interesting, Feeney not knowing who the father was. It also shaped how Tupac saw the world. Miss Drew Kelly, that part right there. That part right there. I'm going to speak to that, and when I finish speaking about this piece here. So, she defended herself, and it's so impressive. I really appreciated them, showing that particular piece of it. So she, of course, there was undercover, cops in this organization because they wanted to infiltrate the Black Panthers. They wanted to break it up. So they had to send some people, there undercover. But there's just like they send people undercover in drug rings, everything that the government thinks something suspicious of, they're going to have somebody undercover in that situation. Okay. And we'll never hear about it, but there are unfortunately a lot of, undercover work is not easy. Okay. Because you got to become one of whatever you trying to be in, but then at the same time, maintain your true position as whatever it is. But then, all criminals are not unlikable. That's the crazy thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you get conflicted in your own mind because you begin to connect to these people that you potentially may have to soon arrest. So if you're watching the series, you've seen the way that particular scene played out in the series, in the documentary, and this woman had her stuff together, and everybody that seemed to know his mom just spoke very highly of her and her intelligence. And her sister in that movie, and I keep calling movie, but documentary, they call her Glow. Honey, she is so piece of work, honey. I would love to just speak to her, meet her. Glow is a piece of work, okay? She worked, but I appreciate her. She's bringing something different to the documentary, and I do appreciate her. And so Miss True Kelly said that was interesting, Afeni. I'm not knowing who the father was. It also shaped how Tupac saw the world. So this is my general public service announcement to all females. I'm not policing anybody's private parts, okay? But I will say this. Men can mess around all day long with 500 females because some things in the world, it just is what it is, right? So men can mess around all day long with 100 females, but a female has got to tread extremely lightly when she wants to sleep around with a bunch of men in a small time period, because you may find yourself pregnant and not know who the father of your child is, and that is messy. Now, luckily today, with technology, they can in utero test a few people. I mean, but do you want to be out here getting the Maury Povich done to try to find out who your baby daddy is? Just trying to tell you.
Not Maury.
As a matter of fact, you know what? Maury can't help you, so now you're gonna have to solve your own problems. He retired.
You retire. Listen, Black Panthers, thank you for being here tonight. I do not. They, if he does, they have not spoke on it in this specific documentary. I've never personally heard of him having children. Auntie, is that
Me,
something that you know anything about?
I never heard that. No, no.
Okay. Miss
Yeah.
Wilson, good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. Anyone else who has joined and hasn't chatted, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Hit that like button for me, and we're going to keep it going, okay? So, Auntie, next we are moving into, so we're back in Georgia. And we're having the court case for the two police officers that Tupac Pow due to their altercation between him and his crew. And so, Man speaks that, Tupac, was the calmest one in the courtroom. Everybody was nervous because in reality, I mean, if we want to say, talk about being guilty for what he did, technically he was guilty for pow-powing the two officers. But what made that case kind of fall through was that the courts found out that the pow-pows that the officers end up having were from the evidence room. They had no business having them pow-pows in the first place. And so it pretty much tanked the court case, okay? And so, that court went on. And so when it came time for a verdict, I thought it was very profound that there was a Black gentleman in charge of the jury, giving the verdict. So that was very different because that's not a popular opinion around here. And so not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty was rambled off for only 16 charges. He was found 16, yes. He was found. No, that was not that case. He was actually found not guilty for that whole entire case. He did not receive any jail time for that case. So, thoughts and opinions on that?
Yeah, he walked off of that again because that's right, Miss True Kelly. Come on now, help us and give us the words, honey. Corrupt officers. How you in
Boom.
these? Because they was not. It's like I said with that particular case. It's not like they was in their patrol car, or he would have still probably been alive. He just would have been behind bars. Okay. So it's not like they was in their patrol car. They was actually in the streets, probably seeming like they was thugging it out themselves. And they got into it with Pac, and it happened. But like Roy said, he got off because the simple fact of they had illegal weapons on them themselves. It was just crazy. So he got chance after chance. Like what some people say. You know how they say a cat has 9 lives.
Both a cat and has 9 lives. He had grace and mercy on his side on a consistent basis, okay?
On a consistent basis, and he kind of spit it back at the earth like whatever. He was just so reckless. It's like,
me. You have to do that.
I'm trying to tell you, he did. He did. You know me. Let me tell you something. There are some things I'm like, whoo, God, you got me out of that. Okay, I'm gonna be good. And at least I'm
Okay.
good for a long period. I'm good. That part. He did your George Jeff. He was just disrespectful. Let's be clear.
Disrespectful.
We can like him, but he was mad disrespectful, even when he was talking to the press. Okay.
Well, he called it in the show. He said that he was a male chauvinist. And that is the perfect words to describe his behavior during that time. A male chauvinist. Yeah. How you walking out of the courtroom just like as if you didn't commit a whole crime, sir? Really?
Child, he was always trying to. He felt like he sang a song something about me against the world. He really felt like it was him against the world. He really did. He really felt like it was him against the world. And when you got an attitude like that, you're dangerous.
Very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Mm-hmm. So from there on, going into the next part that I can remember, Tupac was in and out of jail. He was in and out of court. We got all these court fees. We got the lawyer fees. And so his money had dried up You know, he had lost all of his jobs. He was up for awards. He had lost the awards after the whole SA situation. I mean, he had a lot going on, okay? And so he was asked to be featured on a song, and Pac was about making that money. He wanted to take care of himself. He did not want to go back to where he came from. And he felt that being the nice guy didn't get him nowhere. When he started, you know, being that thug life and just kind of, you know, about the streets, he felt like he started seeing growth then. So, you know, he goes to New York to, you know, get on the record for this song. And so as he's walking in, there are gentlemen down there awaiting pretty much. And so as he comes in, they open fire. Pow, 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 pow. He is pow, pow 5 times. Oh, did I miss
No, I
something?
thought it was he was coming down when he was coming down, leaving out. I didn't thought it was when he was going in. Was
Oh,
it?
I thought it was going in. I thought it was going in
Okay,
because he said,
okay.
either
Go
way,
ahead.
y'all, this is why you
Yeah.
got to watch the show, okay? So, pow pow. And so, after he is pow pow, you know, he's rushed to the hospital.
But wait,
And
before you go there, Roya, it was not just pow pow. It was like 5 times, and one was in the head.
yes,
One was in his thigh.
why?
Um, he got, but no, actually, let me take that back. Two was in the head. I wrote it down, but my notes is in the other room. But two was in the head. One was in the thigh, and they said one he actually did hit. He shot himself in the kahunas because that's where he had his little Glock, as they want to
Mhm.
call it, and he was trying to pull it out to get at least try to get one off on somebody, but it actually went off on himself. And this man 5 times, but remember two in the head. And as they was taking him in the ambulance out, he was sticking the middle finger up, like
Listen, like grace and mercy yet again. Another opportunity of grace and mercy to
mhm,
survive and pow pow in the head twice by 2 bullets.
mhm.
That grace and mercy. So, you know, from there on, he has surgery. And once he comes out of surgery, literally hours after surgery, he tells them that he wants to be checked out of the hospital. Is it Bellevue, Diva? Is that what the hospital was
It
called?
was Bellevue Hospital in New York. But wait, hold on one second. But he does that because now he's becoming paranoid.
Mm-hmm.
He was becoming paranoid. And
Mm-hmm.
so he was laying in the bed. And imagine, first of all, you still high off the anesthesia, so to speak, and you had traumatic injuries. Like, let me tell you something. I cut my finger too deep, and I'm like, so help. Like, no, bandage it up some more, okay? Like, I'm not, I am not a hypochondriac, but every little thing, my little urgent care, they know me. They be like, what? No, check this because I want to make sure I'm going to be here to, like, I want to live.
Y'all, when I first kind of started coming on Diva's channel, she always used to tell me that she is the urgent care queen. Like
What? I'm not playing that.
we
Y'all
don't
gonna
do the
fix me.
pain, okay?
No, I don't
We
do the
don't do
pain,
that.
honey. You gonna fix
Mm-mm.
me, and I don't. And listen, I'm not sitting with no cold for no 2 weeks. No, the cold ain't gonna work itself out. Give me something to get this cold up out of me.
Right
Okay,
now.
right now, right now. So imagine two in the head, one of you down there. Imagine down there. Like, how are you even going anywhere? Like, hold on. That's my, my family jewels. And one
Mm-hmm.
down there in his thigh and somewhere else. And this man, after surgery, because he got so paranoid, because he had a dream. He had a dream about seeing his father, his real father, but his real father actually came to the hospital to see him, I want to say, right? So,
Oh, and I missed an important detail.
yeah,
While he was pow pow, the cop who was at the court was, or at one of the other hearings that was in New York, was at the scene as well. So he just felt like you said, paranoid. He felt
yeah,
set up. Biggie was upstairs, and Biggie didn't tell him anything about it. There was just so many avenues of paranoia coming to him, like you
yeah.
said, that he had to go. He had to get out.
And I would get paranoid too, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like, why is this cop here? This cop that, yeah, this don't make sense to me.
And they
Why is
just
my
letting people in the
homeboy
room.
right? Why is my homeboy that was supposed to be my homeboy Like it's just started not feeling right to him. And then wait, what did somebody say? The doctor said he could lose that part.
They did. Yep. And that was
That
like, whoa. But you know
that
what? I thought about this too. What kind of security are you just to be letting in my daddy who I ain't seen in how many years?
Well, no,
Like,
they probably didn't really know that, right? So when you're in a
let's see.
hospital,
Mm-mm,
but no,
mm-mm.
your mother and your father, when you're in a hospital, your family
Oh
members,
yeah.
we're always gonna let your family members in the door. We ain't gonna be like, well, when the last time you seen your son before we let you, because then you want to try to sue us if if you ain't get to see your kid and we were trying to hold you back. We ain't doing that. So as long as we know that if you say it's your son or your daughter or you the cousin or whatever, then we gonna let you in. You're gonna get to come in. So he just got through all this paranoia, and this man, after being in the head, in the groin, and everywhere else, he just picked up and left. And tell him where he went to recover at, which shocked me.
Yo, I was not ready for this. Was
I
not
was
ready
not
for it
ready.
at all. So, he calls his mom, tells him he's checking out the hospital. And so, y'all, guess who appears in the show? Jasmine Guy. So, Jasmine Guy goes to the hospital to check on Pac, and he was not there. He checked out. Pac calls her, says, hey, can I crash at your place? He goes and crashes at her place. And was it in New York, Diva?
It was in New York.
In New
Her
York? Okay.
apartment in New York.
Yes, goes and crashes at her place in New York, and no one knew about it because nobody knew that Jasmine Guy and Tupac were friends. So
Mm-hmm.
that kind of very made me really curious about Jasmine Guy Diva because I cannot see her. And she even talked about it in the show. She wasn't used to being around, people being pow
Ugly.
powed and yeah.
But you know what? You know what though? Let me tell you something. I seen a lot of I seen a lot of interviews with her. She seems like a really genuine, caring, nice person.
Down
She
to
really
earth.
does. She went through a lot with her ex-husband, and I believe
Mm,
they have a child together. And when I say a
do.
lot, I mean a lot in like not have no money and all of that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I seen interviews with her. So I could and I think remember, he wasn't initially thug life. He wasn't born that way. He got that way over a period of time because of things that he went through. So with that being said, he had a very sensitive side to him. And I
Mhm.
think that people that kind of knew that other side of him connected with that. And we would have to try to Google and see when did they actually meet, like how did they meet, did they meet through something where they acted together or whatever. But he had to have known her very well, because you're not going to just let anybody come stay up in your house and recover, especially after you say, well, wait a minute, I'm just leaving the hospital and I just got pow and they just finished surgery and I want to come and recover in your house.
No, she was not. We don't want to talk about her.
Ooh. Ooh.
No, I don't know. Not in these three past episodes that we have seen. We have not seen her in it. But I can't see her being a part of this. I don't
So
think
wait,
she would.
yeah. So Nate, tell us a little bit more, because you say he was a geek. Like, how much do you know? Put in the chat like some more. You seem like you got a lot of info. You could probably help us fill in the blanks, because of course the documentary can't tell us everything. But not only that, I wish the documentary took a nicer flow. So
Yes.
I'm loving the documentary, but this producer of
In
it,
and out, back and
yeah, I
forth.
need him. I need him to do a little bit more work. His name is Alan Hudges, I think it is. We need to speak to him. We need him to
Yeah.
do a little more work, because I really wish he could have pieced it together in a little more sequential flow. I think because he was trying to tell the story of the mom and the story of Tupac in a parallel situation, you
Mhm.
gotta watch closely. And if you don't know some of the backstory yourself, it may be harder to follow. But if you know
Yes.
a little bit about Tupac, you can follow it a little easier, because you know about these things that happen in his life. But I wish he did. I wish he did a nicer flow. He could still. I'm glad he's telling the mom story because it matters to when you want to get to know Tupac. But I wish he would have did it a little smoother. That's all. I like maybe he could have focused highly with the mom episode 1 and then segue into Tupac episode 2, segue
Yes.
into the mom and then segue back into Tupac. But he's doing it and it's like
I
your
think
mind
this
is
week was a
on it.
little better. I
It
think
was.
this episode was a little better. So maybe as we progress on, maybe we'll start seeing that hopefully, or at least a better flow. But Jasmine Guy loved Afena. That's why Jazz knew Tupac. Okay. Jazz studied
Jasmine.
Afena. Wow.
Oh, and you know
Wow.
what, Sachi? I wish that you gotta tell me, even if you email me and spell it out phonetically, how to say your name, because we always see you supporting us, and I thank you. And you have so much information. So thanks for telling us that. So that's interesting. So wow. So look at for the love of his mother, she allowed his son to come stay at her house. That's interesting.
So, Miss True Kelly, are you telling us that they met on a different world? Did Tupac ever, was he on the episode of a different world?
If he was, I don't remember, but I don't remember
Yeah.
every single episode. Yeah.
Yeah. All
Mm-hmm.
righty. It might have been at the art school. Okay. Yes, because Jasmine went to the
But
art school.
he went to the art school with Jada. Didn't you go with Jada?
Ooh, okay. I don't know. Okay.
Okay.
So, as we kind of wrap up that, when Tupac was staying with or at Jasmine's place, she really seen kind of the decline and the downfall of Tupac because he just became really depressed, really saddened, and it got so bad to the point where he was at the point of ready to take his own life. And he even had a plan laid out with, his friends of exactly what he was going to do, how they were going to take him out, drop him off in the middle of nowhere. He was going to smoke so much that he just wouldn't even remember and then pow himself. And that's when things just really kind of just set in for the worst, in my opinion, for him. He just really went down a deep, dark hole that I don't think he was ever able to really come back from because of everything that had just happened. He went from seeing himself as the leader and the representative of the Black community to be seen as a SA, as a power of police, as a violent individual. It was a lot. It was a lot.
Okay, she's helping us out here. Don't I'm so bad, but I'm gonna try it. Is it
The
Satri?
heart. Satri.
I don't know. I'm bad. But thank you. But we love you. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
the
shout
the
let me
Satara.
write it. Satara. Oh yeah, I
Satara.
like that. I like that. I like that. Okay.
Thought you like it. Well, if it ain't right, we don't want it.
But I'm writing it down. Writing it down so I can get help later. But I like it. I like it. Okay.
We
So
believe in
shout out to
Satara
Jasmine.
and stuff. It's Satara. We love you, boo. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for your
I think
support.
it is that it's Satara. Yeah, I think it is. I think you're right. Shout out
Okay.
to Jasmine. Black Panther said,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Yes, it was well, he was on a different
He
world.
was on a
Okay.
different
Oh, he
world. Okay,
was.
there
Everybody
we
said he
go.
was.
Okay, here we go. All
Okay.
right. See, this is why I love these people. Yes.
Yeah,
Y'all better educate
hit
us.
that like button, hit that like button. So wait, Robin wants to give us an info. In my late 20s, I was summoned to the hospital by a friend. Ooh, he wanted to share his diagnosis. As we chatted about various things, he said his parents didn't know. Didn't know what? Did that mean that he had what is she talking about? Is she talking in the right chat?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
don't know what that's talking about. Okay.
All right. Okay. So the Be More Arts is,
I'm
oh, that's where he got Jada from.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Okay. You
Mhm.
was right on that. You was right on that. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Um, Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. Y'all, thank you so much for hitting that like button. Thank you so much. And let's keep it going, okay?
Wait,
So,
before you go, Roy, Miss True
mhm.
Kelly, are you saying which scene? Are you saying the scene where he got pow? Because there was a couple of scenes in there where it was emotional for me. I was like, this man, this, well, this young man because what age did he die at again? Like to go
25,
through
I
was it
think.
25? I felt like 25 too. But to go through all of this so young, it was just so sad. It's so incredibly sad. But listen, let me tell you, if it was me, two times in the head, in the groin, and wherever else the other two went, I'm good. You probably wouldn't have seen me on the streets unless it was a concert. And at the concert, my bodyguards would have had to walk me in. And I'm good. But go ahead, Raya.
26, 26.
26, yeah.
But yes. So, he was just going through a really struggling, traumatic time during that time. But I love that Jasmine was there to support him. She really helped him get through that time along with friends and family. Okay. So, fast forwarding as we're wrapping up the episode, we're going into talking about the whole case with the SA. And so he goes to court for that. And so, that whole case, he got off of the, because like I said, he was charged with 18 charges. He got off 16 of them. They still counted him for dang. Either way, he still got two charges, and he was sent to prison for 2 years, I think it was. Steva, do you remember?
I don't remember, but you know what, Miss True Kelly, if you look at the meaning of Tupac photos or videos, you can see the sadness and uneasiness in his eyes
Mm-hmm.
wholeheartedly. You know
Yes,
what I caught too? I caught also that he had alopecia. Did you catch that, Roy?
I did.
Yeah, he
Yes.
had alopecia. And I'm like, wow, so young. Was it distress? Like, he had a lot
I think
going on.
I think it was the stress. You
Mhm.
you you got to remember, Tupac wasn't only just taking care of himself, but he was taking care of his mom, his whole crew pretty much. And like I stated, he was consistently in and out of court, in and out of jail, being bailed out, court fees, attorney fees, and like he even said in the documentary, he lost everything. All of his
Mhm.
sponsors, all of his jobs, everything dropped him because of what he had going on. So, ending this episode, like I said, he gets off with the two charges, and he is going to prison for that time. And so they end the episode there. And so I think that they're going to kind of go into what he went through during his time in prison, coming out of prison, and kind of going through the last bit of his story. So, thoughts and opinions, Auntie?
Yeah, but I do want to back up a little bit because Miss True Kelly, that part right there broke my heart. Yes, it
Mhm.
did. When Glow told the story of him wanting to unalive himself. So when he after the powing and he was recovering at Jasmine Guy's house, he was so depressed that she said they went. I want to say his mom went to Jasmine Guy's house, or and maybe the Aunt Glow went there too. But he was literally sitting on her couch. He had tears in his eyes. I forgot he wrote something on over the course of his head, right? I
F
forgot
the
what
world,
he,
I believe it was.
yeah,
F the world.
yeah. And he was just so sad, and he just wanted his friends like to just drive him. He just didn't want to be here. It always breaks my heart that when people really feel that life is at the point of no return and the only answer is for them no longer to be here. And you know, I know sometimes people say it's easier said than done, so I would never like, say, oh, do XYZ. But joy cometh in the morning, right?
Mhm.
So go ahead, Rhea, because I gotta grab this for 1 second.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No. Shan, I see that you asked, can we open the panel? We're going to open the panel on the last episode, which will be episode 5. That whole episode, we're going to open the panel and allow everyone to come in and share their thoughts and opinions. But if there's anything that you would like to address while you're in the chat tonight, please do, and I will answer those questions to the best of my knowledge. But like I said, as we're closing out this episode, he was found not guilty on 16 of the 17 charges. He was sentenced to some time in jail. I want to say it was 2 years. And so I didn't watch yet. LOL. Right. So girl, how you asking to come in the chat and you ain't watched the episode yet? I'm just messing. But yes, he really just went through this episode. We see the decline of Tupac, and then we see the downfall of his career and the downfall of his mental health. He really went through a lot mentally during this period of time, and it wore on him. It really, really wore on him and the people around him. So, Auntie, any kind of final closing thoughts? Because that was pretty much episode 3.
Yeah, Rebel, you're right. It's just sad that he's not around to give advice to the generation of hip hop artists. You know what, Rebel? I get what you're saying, but he only would have been able to give advice if he was able to turn his life around. He was definitely on a road to, he was on a bad path. And I don't
Destruction.
know, yeah, destruction. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know, how much more they're going to show us in these last 2 episodes that they have. But I will say this, once you hook up with Suge Knight,
Mm.
I think, and I do understand, listen, if I was in jail and I was rotting away in jail and someone comes to be my savior, I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, I wouldn't feel indebted to that person. Because I would. Because meantime, everybody else that I thought was my friend, they was let me sit here and rot. And here comes Suge Knight, saying, hey, I got your back. I'm going to get you out. So, but when you sign your soul to the devil, devilish
Mm.
things happen.
Mm.
And
Mm.
so, but those are sometimes when we have these conversations about these shows, we can have a whole spin-off conversation about other things, right? Because there's a saying too that you are the company you keep. You
Well,
are what you eat. If you surround yourself with the jungle is going to become a part of you eventually. You understand what I'm saying? Like
I
you can't avoid these things, and they tell you too, like I learned in a business class that I took one time. They said if there's 5 people in the room and all 5 people are broke, they said if you the 6th person, you probably broke too. They just, that's just what it is. And their point was not about rich or poor. The point is that what your surroundings are, you probably
you
just like your surroundings, because rarely does a negative hang with positives and does positives hang with negatives. Do you see what I
One
mean?
thing that I had said to some friends earlier last year, Diva, is my goal was if you were not doing what I'm doing or better than
Right,
me, I gotta cut you off. I gotta cut you
right,
off because you're
right.
holding me back. You're
You
holding
got
me
that
back.
cut off spirit, honey. You got to rub off on me. Yeah. They be holding on to me, dragging me back down in the gutter. Don't JL,
Oh,
you love to start. Talk about maybe if he gave it to Jada. See, don't do that. Don't do that.
bye.
But I just it's similar to when we see people going down the path of destruction, it saddens me. But I think that right now in this day and age, nobody is nobody's brother's keeper, nobody's their sister keeper. Nobody.
Mm-mm.
Nobody.
Nobody.
We are living in a stage where everybody is out for self. Okay, for self, and it's like it's the again, another business class I took. They was like, have you ever heard that radio station WIIFM? Have you ever heard of that radio station?
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, which station is it?
Oh no! Don't ask me all of that now. I
No,
can't give you that.
it's they said WIIFM, and I hope I'm doing it right. Is what's in it for me. That's what they call. He said, "Have you ever heard of that station, WIIFM?" He said that stands for "What's in it for me." Okay, he said that's the concept everybody lives by now. If it's not in it, it's nothing in it for them. They don't want nothing to do with it. They don't care. Everybody is out for self. And so when you're out for self, you don't really care about your fellow brother or sister, and nobody wants to check them. People are leeches. They're leeches. They was around him when he had the money, but then when he was behind bars, there wasn't nobody writing him or putting money on his commissary.
Mm.
Now, when you reckless and nobody can check you, well, then that's on you. And he was a little reckless. So overall, what I got from this particular episode, it broke my heart. It was a lot of sadness. I know his mother was doing the best she could because she, you feel some type of guilt too when you are a parent and you know that you might not have been there for your kid as much as you would have wanted to be. And now here they are, they're reckless. So you as a mom, you do feel some type of way. You're human. But the thing is, none of us can go back and correct the past. You can only live in the now. In my opinion, I think Suge Knight has set him up. He had one point said he was leaving Death Row Records. Snoop and Dr. Dre had left real quick. I do believe that too. Um, but Suge Knight is woo. It's Suge Knight. I think he only spent like 8 or 9 months in prison. Yeah, but you know what though? Listen, I couldn't spend a night. I'ma just tell him that go to talk to God and tell him take me now, cause I ain't doing nobody's jail.
Here, this also says when the cops assaulted him, they beat his hair out in front, causing patches that did not grow back. Wow. Wow.
So sad.
Suge is no good. That's what the people are. The people. Ooh.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Wow. Don't forget to
Yeah.
hit that like button, y'all, as you have come in the building. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Diva, if we could take anything from this episode and give it to our future generation, what would that, what would you give the people?
You can be a rap artist or a hip hop artist and not live and represent thug life. Check that. Check out the hip hop or rap artists that have true lyrics. True lyrics. And let me tell you something. Tupac had lyrics in him. He had lyrics in his mouth. But he
The way
just turned
they
it
was
in the wrong.
flowing.
That part. Although my mom was a dope fiend, she was still a queen. Come on now. So what is his name? Nas? Nas can write. So you can be a hip hop artist and it doesn't have to be all thuggish.
Yes.
And you don't have to pretend that you a thug and you got shot 9 times and you don't have to do that. That's what I have to say.
You don't have to live by
Come
the
on,
code.
Via. Thank you for that. I couldn't get the words out, but that's why I love y'all. Thank you for that. You don't have to live by the code. That's what I'm trying to say. I love that. God first. God first.
Come on, Diva. Yes.
Yeah, my man was smart and all. Okay, yeah. Okay, Shan.
Shan
love us some Tupac.
Listen, she told us at the start. She told us at the start. I'm thinking about starting a generic rap group.
A geriatric rap group. Auditions for backup not needed. Ah, Black Panthers, I'm coming. You know what, Black Panthers? That's a good idea. We need to start writing down our rhymes. We're gonna write our own stuff. No, Black Panthers, put in the chat. What we gonna call our group? What we calling our group?
You got to put it in the chat, Black Panthers. But listen, y'all, we are closing out for the night. Diva, I thought this was a really, really good episode. For me, I mean, I can't say it any better than what Bia said. You don't have to live by the code. You don't, in order to be in whatever profession you will want to be in, you don't have to change to be whatever they say be. You need to, live by you. Do you what you know is right, and don't carry yourself with such arrogance. If you say that you're humble, exhibit that on the outside and the inside. And I think he lost his way of humbleness, after the success, after, his poppin' music videos and his poppin' songs and his poppin' movies. He really lost the true meaning of, the passion that he had, which was looking out for the Black community and covering our Black people. So
Ab-
I thought this was a great episode.
I
I
did
cannot
too.
wait until.
Hey,
Oh,
Mel.
Mel, what's up? Oh my gosh, I literally just asked Diva about you the other week. Literally, just asked about you.
Yes. Nice to
Yes.
see you, Mel. Yes, the
Yeah.
Fugees was a good example of thoughtful rappers. Thank you, Mel. You gave me words. I love y'all because y'all be helping with the words. Thoughtful rapping, right? Thoughtful rappers. Yes, I love that. Mhm.
Mhm.
Somebody called. What? Somebody gave us a name. What? Geriatric baddies.
Ah, go to a city near you. I'm so dead. Shit is stupid. Come on for the geriatric baddies, period. Hey, in my opinion, thank you for coming in the building and joining us tonight. Listen, for those of y'all who are just in here, we are wrapping up part 2, episode 3 of Dear Mama. And so this is exclusively on FX, y'all. So y'all make sure y'all catch out the replay of Dear Mama Part 2 with Diva and myself whenever y'all catch the replay. For those who came in late and for those who will watch the replay, we thank you so much. Um, Auntie, any
Yes.
closing remarks? Anything you got to say?
Yeah, the geriatric baddies coming to a city near you.
Oh my gosh, shit, I cannot with
Oh
you.
God, that is
Not
so cool. So
that
you
was
gotta
funny.
come up next time. You gotta come up with my rap name, Lady
Listen.
Diva. Lady Diva.
Mm.
That's my
Lady
rap
Diva
name.
on,
Okay, go
on the
ahead.
ones and twos. Lady Diva on the ones and twos, period. Alrighty. He didn't have time to grow out of being foolish young man, okay? He did grow up very quickly. And that's one thing, I will as also acknowledge.
Yeah,
Though he grew up very quickly, he had such a maturity about himself.
he
But
did.
in that maturity, there was still a lot of immaturity that had not been dealt with and groomed to mature. So
Mhm.
he was just, in my opinion, always stuck in between a rock and a hard place, literally.
Yeah.
Literally. Y'all, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you so much. Said this was a great show tonight. I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. Auntie, I'm gonna go ahead and claim it. We made this show number 1 because
All right.
after we reviewed it, then it was reported that this was the number 1, premiere on Hulu and on FX. So we did that, y'all. Let's continue to keep it going. I want y'all to join me next week over on Diva's channel as we review part 3, episode 4 of Dear Mama. The documentary on Afeni and Tupac. Here is Chronicles of the Gray Hair Divas YouTube channel.
You tired. You tired.
I have dropped the link. So y'all make sure Maria is the manager. Listen, look. I be trying to help us out in these YouTube streets. Okay, we take care of each other. We take care of each other. But y'all, please go subscribe to Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva if you have not. Join us tomorrow night for our podcast. We got a show for y'all, so that will be really really fun. I think that is it, Diva. Next Thursday, Dear
Mhm.
Mama over on Diva's channel podcast tomorrow. Um, hit that like button, comment down below, subscribe. Did you have something else to say?
No, love you.
All
That's
right.
it. Had
Love
fun.
you, Bill. We love y'all. Thank you so much for joining us. Please also hit that share button. Let the people know. We talking about Dear Mama. We reviewing this, and then y'all watch the show because the very last episode, we're gonna let you in to have the conversation, share your
Mhm.
thoughts and opinions on everything that went down. Okay. So, Auntie, love you.
Love you too.
People,
Bye,
we'll catch y'all
guys.
later. Have a great night.